In this lesson, we're going to configure TypeScript compiler so that anytime we're going to build our project, the TypeScript will run all checks and make sure that all types are properly used in our project. And if there will be any type mismatches, TypeScript compiler will prevent our project from being built. So we're going to start with adding some TypeScript code in our main JavaScript file called main.js. Let's declare a new constant name, which will be of type string, and assign wrong type, which is number. And then let's just print out the value of this constant in a console. By the way, if we hover over on this string type, we will see such pop-up, and TypeScript error is formatted, and this is due to that plugin we have installed earlier called TS errors, which formats TypeScript errors in more readable way. Now let's read the error message. It's saying that type annotations can only be used in TypeScript files, but we are currently in a JavaScript file. So to make it work, we have to rename this file in a way that it will use TS extension, and also in that place we are referring to this file when we're including this on HTML page right here. We also have to change JS extension on TS. So now that we have type mismatch in our main.ts file, let's try to build our project by running npm run build in the terminal. As we can see, the project was built successfully, even though we have a type mismatch in our source code. Now let's also take a look how build project looks like in a browser. We can check it by running npm run preview, which will serve build project in the browser. So let's open up this address localhost 4173 in the browser. In here we also don't have any errors, and that variable's value was printed. So clearly TypeScript type checking doesn't work yet. And now to make TypeScript to check types before we will build our project, we're gonna use a special tool from the family of tools called Vue.js language tools. And the tool that we need in here is called Vue.tsc. And this tool will be used to run type checking in our source code. So first of all, we have to install this tool and then use this script to run type checking before we build our project. Let's open up package.json. And right before the command which builds our project, we specify another executable file Vue.tsc to run type checking. But of course, in order for this to work, we have to install a couple of tools. Let's go back to the terminal and run npm install with a flag D, because we are installing dependencies that are only going to be used in development. In this case, we need the TypeScript compiler itself, because Vue.tsc tool relies on it. And let's also install Vue.tsc. And after installation process complete, if we take a look inside Node.js folder, here will be another folder called bin, and inside this folder we're gonna see executable file of Vue.tsc utility. Now we're gonna try to run this file in the terminal. For this we need to specify the path to this executable, which is node modulus.bin and the name Vue.tsc. After running this utility, we just see the documentation of how this tool should be used. That is because in order for TypeScript compiler to check types, we have to create configuration file in the root of our project called tsconfig.json. So let's do it right now. I'm going to create the new file in the root of the project. And here we're gonna be configuring TypeScript compiler, and all the options for TypeScript compiler are specified in the object under compiler options key. Let's create this object right here. And now we are ready to run TypeScript and build our project again. And by the way, we can just simply execute build script without having to specify the path to the Vue TypeScript compiler. And it is going to run TypeScript compiler before our project gets built. And once we do so, we will see the error saying JS emit is not supported. That is because TypeScript is currently trying to compile TypeScript files into JavaScript files, but actually our project uses only JavaScript files. And by default, JavaScript files are not allowed in TypeScript projects. So let's just open up package.json once again and consider build script once more. So currently Vue.tsc tool, besides checking types in our source code, is trying to generate JavaScript files based on TypeScript source files. But we actually don't need to do this, because Vue itself will compile TypeScript files in the JavaScript files once we run with build command. And what we need Vue.tsc tool to do is to actually check our types without having to compile TypeScript code into JavaScript code. And to avoid compilation, we can specify the option with the name noEmit in the TypeScript configuration file. The value of this option will be true, which means we're disabling TypeScript compilation. And now let's run the build once again. This time we're getting different error message, which says that JavaScript files are not allowed. So once again, let's go back to tsconfig.json and allow JavaScript files. For this, we need to use an option with the name allow.js and the value true, like so. And this time, after executing build again, we're getting an issue which is related to our source code, which indicates that we have type mismatch. So if I'm gonna go ahead and fix that type mismatch issue inside main.ts by assigning string to this constant, and by the way, the name constant is still highlighted, this error is related to ESLint, which we will fix later. But now that we have fixed type mismatch, let's run the build again. This time we get another error saying that type set is not supported. In the JavaScript version, we're trying to compile TypeScript code too, because the type set appeared in the ECMAScript 2015. So we have to specify the target of our compilation to the version which is later or equal to ES 2015. And we're doing it by adding another configuration option with the name target. And the version we're gonna use will be ECMAScript 2020. So once again, let's run the build. And we're getting the error saying that it wasn't able to resolve an import of Vue library. So the issue here is that TypeScript cannot resolve ECMAScript imports. And to fix this issue, let's specify configuration option with the name module resolution. We have to use the value bundler. This changes strategy of the module resolution. And this time, if we'll run the build again, we're going to see a new error. And this happens because TypeScript is also trying to check types within declaration files of some libraries. But we actually don't need to check declaration files of third-party libraries, so we can disable this behavior. We basically have to add an option with the name skip leap checks and the value true. And finally, after adding all these configuration options, we can run the build once again, and this time, as we can see, the project was successfully built. Let's run the build project in the browser by running npm run preview. And in here we also don't have any issues, and the variable value was printed in the console. So let's go back to the main.ts and reproduce type mismatch again by assigning number to this constant and build the project. This time, TypeScript compiler is not going to allow us to build the project, because we clearly have type mismatch in our source code. So in this lesson we have successfully configured TypeScript compiler. Let's temporarily rename this file to JS, and also change extension from TS to JS in this HTML file, and continue development in the next lesson. And the link to the source code of this project will be in the video description.